If you're enjoying this content, hit that subscribe button. Join us. Yes, hi everyone, it's your boy EVS. Welcome to Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm a 27-year veteran of the comic book industry, world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. That's what people say about me. Great big Star Wars fan, trusted member of the media. You can also call me an oracle, a sage. You can call me Nosferatu. No, Nostradamus. Don't get those two guys confused. They're completely different. Prognosticator of the future, everyone. That is what people are saying about me right now, because everything that I predicted has come true. Here's an article from Bleeding Cool, February 29th. It's a leap year. That looks weird in print, February 29th. You're used to seeing February 28th. 29th. What a weird year. Jim Lee says DC Comics isn't going away, but he also claims he will live to age 140. And, I think Asian people do live. Do Asian people live longer? I think they kind of do, from movies that I've seen. They grow long white beards and they sit in mountains and train Bruce Lee. So he could grow to be age 140, but that's not what he meant. Jim Lee was on a panel. He denied, oh, DC's not going anywhere. Don't listen to these lunatics. Here's George R.R. Marston. George R.R. Marston, that's got to be, is that a fake guy? That's not a real person, right? I mean, is that his real name, George R.R. Marston? That would make him, related to Wonder Woman and also related to, the Game of Thrones franchise. Maybe it's a fake name. I don't know. We've been with Warner Brothers for decades. The actual strategy for DC is to put publishing at the center of what we do. It's the engine of the movies, TVs, cartoons. We do. And so it's my intent going forward as the publisher to lean into the collective years of my team. Well, everybody has been fired as of yesterday. The collective years, as Rich Johnson opines. I mean, we're talking about people, centuries worth of experience in making comic books. People just fired. DC Comics Bloodbath 2. And something interesting is notable in this article. There's a little piece of information that's pretty interesting. And we'll get to that in a second. It involves Jim Lee's plans. DC is going to, in case you haven't figured it out yet, DC Comics is closing down their publishing division. Now, don't worry, everyone. That doesn't mean there isn't going to be Batman, Superman, maybe Wonder Woman stuff. I don't know how much Wonder Woman stuff there's going to be. Honestly, the Marston family, as previously mentioned, has an enormous stake. They got a really, really good deal. They didn't get shafted the way Siegel and Schuster did on Superman. The Wonder Woman family, they get a large percentage of everything that DC does of Wonder Woman, to the degree that DC just doesn't make very much money on Wonder Woman at all. That's why they don't really spend a lot of time focusing on Wonder Woman comics. And the movie, I'm sure, even though it was a huge, amazing success, there's probably a little bit of bitterness that DC Comics didn't get to put very much money. DC Entertainment didn't get to put as much money in their own pockets for that film. But I think what's happening going forward, is DC Comics is going to pare down in the immediate future to a handful of comic books, maybe 12 comic books per month. Maybe 12, maybe fewer than that. And these comic books are going to be Justice League, Superman, and Batman, and that's it. That's it. There might be backup stories in these books, like maybe there'll be a Justice League supersized book and you'll be able to get a Green Lantern short story or a Flash or a Hawkman. But they are not taking any more chances. Publishing is being pared down, and only the best creative teams, this might be kind of good, only the best creative teams are going to be allowed to work on them, but they're going to be working for subsistence level pay, which is crazy. It's basically, people fighting over scraps at this point. That is the future. All right, so Marie Javins yesterday was promoted. Michelle Wells was fired. In other words, this was crazy, guys. Marie Javins and Michelle Wells were both hired as co-EICs for DC Comics. Michelle Wells was meant to be working on the young adult DC Comics novels. In other words, they were going to make little little young adult novels featuring teenage versions of the Joker and Catwoman and Batman. And hey, look, Aqualad's there, and he's gay, and he's in a gay relationship with another superhero, and these are for teenagers, you see. That's what's popular right now, YA novels, and that's what Michelle Wells was going to do. In the meantime, Marie Javins was going to focus on what I just described, you know, paring down the DC universe, doing comic books the way DC Comics has traditionally done them, and that was going to be her role. It was going to be a kind of a battle between what the future of DC publishing was going to be. As small as publishing would kind of evolve to become, which direction would DC kind of go in. And yesterday, Michelle Wells was fired. So evidently those YA novels are completely returnable. DC put out a bunch of them and were shocked when probably 95% of them came back with a bill. I mean, when you actually produce work and you get a bill rather than a paycheck, it's time to pull the brakes on that. So Michelle Wells is out of here. Marie Javins is now full-fledged DIC, but something interesting was pointed out in this very article. Marie Javins, as EIC, is reporting directly to Cherry, okay? That's this guy, Daniel Cherry III, who is there. By the way, this guy, I've never heard of him before. It's like, this is the thing. Usually in comics, people are promoted from, hey, this guy was an assistant editor, and then became an editor, and now, boom, like, he's the EIC. He is, he's an important guy. He becomes the president. And that's kind of the way it's always worked in comics. But this guy was an outside hire. And a lot of AT&T's actions were to bring in people from outside corporations to come in and basically close down DC Comics, shrink it down. It's insolvent at this point. Shrink it down and then get it to a point where it's manageable, and then slowly, they're going to divest themselves of DC. And basically, I think what they're going to do is these guys are going to license the characters out to other publishers. So is there anybody else who wants to do YA novels about Batman? Well, you'll be able to do it through these guys, through these new. Hey, if we want to, we could actually rent Green Lantern or The Flash, and we could do Comicsgate versions of DC characters. All of that stuff is going to be possible. We are going to be able to do that. But this is interesting. Jim Lee was co-president with Dan DiDio, but it was completely an honorary title. Jim Lee didn't belong there. He didn't do very much there. It was just that he had become so powerful and was such a valuable piece of horse flesh. He was going to live to be 140 years old, too. So that, obviously a guy that can draw that well, that's going to live twice the normal lifespan of a human being, you want to keep him on board. Jim Lee was uncomfortable in his position when Dan DiDio was fired. A lot of people were thinking that this meant that he was going to be doing performing the role that Dan DiDio had performed all these years. Jim Lee doesn't want to do that. He's not capable of doing that. That's not what he wants to do. That is not his role. What is he doing? According to this, not much. Marie Javins is now reporting directly to Daniel Cherry, not to the publisher, not to the president of he is strictly, look, he's the publisher and he's the chief creative officer. That's Jim Lee. And Marie Javins, who is the EIC, would normally report to him, but she's not. She's reporting to this person. General manager. What is general manager? What is this? This is managing the decline. Okay, so she's going to be asking permission from this guy. Can we do this book while we are closing down the company? And she's going to skip over this guy here, who was the chief creative officer. This guy's job right now, Jim Lee's job, is to finish the style guides for all of the IPs that AT&T now owns. So Jim Lee is sitting there going, okay, so this is what Firestorm looks like. And he's drawing all the different Firestorms. He's getting a big Bible together of all of the properties that AT&T now owns. And then Jim Lee is he's going to hit the highway. Jim Lee is going to be out of there. He is going to have an enormous golden parachute. Millions and millions of dollars in cash will be dumped on Jim Lee as he leaves comics. Maybe he leaves comics for good. I don't really know. Will he retire at that point, or will he move on, create his own company, or do? I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know if there's if it seems like a good bet. It might be time for Jim Lee to retire and just enjoy, his life. But that's what's happening from here. I mean, it's pretty clear from this that Jim Lee is finishing a task that was given to him by AT&T, and he is leaving. And again, this is just more of it's more proof. It's more proof of my predictions. Everything is going exactly as I planned. Cue like the Emperor here. That's me. I'm Palpatine. Everything is going exactly as I've foreseen. Doesn't mean it's a good thing. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it. But on the other hand, comic books have been converged by SJWs. They are now 100%, gate kept by radical leftists, and they aren't producing work that anybody really wants. And maybe it's time for a great big house cleaning. They say that sometimes you have to set fire to forests in order to encourage new growth. And I think maybe that's what we need to do. We need to burn down some of the deadwood, and we'll see. Plant a little seed. Marie Javins is going to be producing very few DC comics, and they're supposed to be good. And the people who are doing them are going to be working extra hard because they're going to be working for minimal paychecks. And will that lead to creativity? Will that lead to... Boy, it just doesn't feel like it. I gotta say, having this guy over your head saying, I don't know, it doesn't feel like there's going to be another Dark Knight Returns or Killing Joke or Watchmen around the corner from this situation. But I could be wrong, and I hope that I am. In the meantime, if you love comic books, support Comicsgate. Comicsgate is the consumer and creative reaction to what leftists have done to the comic book industry, i.e. utterly destroy it. We have found a way to do comics on our own terms, making good money through crowdfunding and social media. Take a look at Indiegogo, look at the comic book projects that are on Indiegogo, and support them if you can. My comic book property is called Cyberfrog. Why not back Cyberfrog? I'll put a little ad at the end of this. Get our comic books and support them, because we are the future of the comic book medium. I truly believe that. I think independent voices, independent creators are going to rise up and fill the gap that this failure left behind. Let's hope so. We can only do it with your help and your love and your support. And fortunately, we've had it. So thank you guys so much for all of that. All right, that's my video for today. That's all I got. I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Hey Indiegogo backers, it's Cyberfrog, warts and all, the complete collection of every Cyberfrog comic from the 1990s in one hardcover omnibus collection. More than 328 pages of frog fun gathered together for the first time ever for one low price, with plenty of amazing stretch goal bonuses to keep fans jumping. Back it today, only on Indiegogo. Hey, I got a P.O. box. Want to send me some mail? Send it to Ethan Van Sciver, P.O. Box 607, Marlton, New Jersey 08053. And I'll probably open it up on the live stream. Thanks very much, everyone. Hey, you want to follow me on Twitter? Are you sure? Well, if so, I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. That's at Ethan Van Sciver. See you there.